Okay guys, so the thing is, by the time I made it to smog shop, see where it says PDTC, that's pending diagnostic trouble code, that turned one and orange. So basically when I saw that, as soon as I pulled in a smog parking lot, that thing turned on, showed it to the smog technician. He was like, that's automatic fail, that's a pending trouble code. It's gonna fail automatically. I was like, man, all right. He was like, well, drive more and see what happens. Sure enough, when I start driving home, see on the left side, the second bottom one, HCC, that turned green and threw a check engine light. Basically, that's been my problem. That's what I've been dealing with. Anytime that thing turns green, it throws check engine light. And so everything was green except the PM particulate matter filter sensor. And another thing I noticed, see where that red circle is, or octagon's like a stop sign, that was on, and then as soon as that turned, the HCC turned green, even though my particulate matter filter was still red, I got a the check green mark. Basically means all the sensors were active. I can take it to smog. But unfortunately, I still had a check engine light. So the check engine light, so pending code, that turned red and one, and then where it says mill on the top with the check engine or the engine symbol, that turned one. So I knew, and then of course the check engine light on my dash turned on. So anyway, came home, looked it up, same trouble code, P2201. I just replaced few aftermarket one from Napa. Now I got a matching original NOx sensor from the dealer, and I still got that check engine light code. So I knew it wasn't my sensor. So only thing I could think of was my EGR valve, because in a emission system it just goes one way and one way out. So NOx sensor is pretty much the second system on that on the system, on the downstream. Okay, so only thing before that is EGR valve. So what I end up doing is I went and took my EGR valve. There's a Motor City mechanic or garage, Motor City garage or mechanic. They have a very detailed video of how to clean it. It's a very short video as well, very simple to clean. Took it out, followed his videos. I did see carbon buildup when I pulled it off. Didn't seem as bad, but you know, all the EGR valve will have carbon, so I didn't. And there's a special cleaner you get from dealership, a Mopar one, which I didn't have time. I didn't have time to go get gasket or anything. There's a gasket, a foil type gasket on it. Anyway, took it in my shop. I had a Zap degreaser from Home Depot. I barely had anything left in there. Anyway, I took it all apart. Once I pulled it all apart, there's a clip, you pull it out and you can move the cylinders manually with your hand or with your finger, and you can definitely feel some resistance. And I started looking at it, there was like carbon caked on it. So as soon as I pour that thing, I mean, everything would just start coming loose right away. And since I didn't have enough, I got some hot water. I filled it up, the rest of it with that, and I let it soak for so the one you get from a dealership, it says soak it up for like 3-4 hours and then rinse it with water, and then you let it air dry for another 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever it is. I'm very impatient, so I just soaked it up for an hour. I had some gloves on and I started rubbing with my finger, and the carbon kept coming and coming, and so I ended up getting a little toothbrush. I started cleaning, and I ended up taking it in my bathroom sink, turned the hot water on, and I just started cleaning, and there was so much carbon built up on it. Anyway, I spent like probably 30 minutes cleaning and rinsing it all out, and no more foam stuff were coming out of it, because, you know, I mean, there was just a thick layer of carbon. I mean, the more you clean, the more it came off. So anyway, everything looked nice and shiny in there. Still had a lot of like you know, the housing itself inside, but the cylinder all looked nice and shiny. Looked clean as possible. I didn't replace any gasket. I just bolted everything back on. Started this truck up, and the pending DTC, the diagnostic trouble code on the right side where it's green, went away right away. So I was like, okay, that might be my problem. And then I was like, now I don't want to reset my check engine light and wipe all my sensors clean and then drive for another 480 miles, 500 miles that I did in over a course of a week, 7 days. So since the pending code went away, I drove about, I turned my truck off multiple times on and off, and I drove 25 miles and the check engine light automatically went away, and where it says mail on the top, that went away. Only thing I saw was DTC. I was like, okay, what is that? So I went on I escaped out of this screen. This is a live monitor. Went in my diagnostic trouble code and read the codes. So every time it throws a check engine light code on this, what brand is this? This code reader, and it throws 3 codes. I'm pretty sure most of the code readers are like that. One is pending, one is permanent code, and the third would be stored code. So pending code went away and a permanent code went away. Only thing was stored in the computer that, hey, this truck had this code and is stored in the computer. And you can clear the check engine. I mean, you can go in here and clear that out if you wanted to. So anyway, I called the smog shop. End of the day, I was like, hey, you know, the pending code went away, permanent code went away, there's a stored code, would you still smog it? He was like, yeah, sure, bring it in. So I drive out there and I go there and I show him. He goes, well, it still has that code. I was like, well, I just called and talked to you. And he was like, well, I don't know. He goes, I was like, well, will it pass? He goes, I don't know till I smog it. The guy was being very rude to me. So I was like, okay, go ahead and do it, because every sensor now turned green. As you can see, there was no check engine light visually, and there's no pending light. Okay, no permanent, no pending, only thing was the stored. Okay, so he takes it in. Normally it takes 10 minutes to smog these new vehicles. They don't have to dyno it. Took him about 20 minutes. He comes back and he goes, electronic copy went to DMV. Here's a paper copy. By the way, it passed. I was like, okay, I mean, that's what I was expecting it to pass. So it did pass, but I think, so when I got in that same code back, I was thinking, like, you know, what does NOx sensor read? It reads carbon. And if it has high carbon, it's gonna be out of tolerance, whatever the sensor set at the range. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. So it is. So if you got P2201, I would start with cleaning the EGR valve first. And the way so these Ram trucks, all the diesel stuff, heavy duty trucks, 3/4 ton, 1 ton trucks, the 5500 series, 3500, 2500 series, these trucks are meant to be driven. They're contractor's truck. These are long hauler truck. They're hot shot trucking. People use them for. These trucks are meant to be on a freeway and go up the hill and go on a long distance drive, haul trailers, haul equipments, haul payload in a bed. I mean, you can put 4 grown men in this crew cab and you go out and drive this thing 8 to 10 hours a day, and then you put some use to it. The problem with me is I don't drive much. I have a daily commuter car. This truck just sits here. I drive it very short distance. I mean, within 10 miles, stop and go driving. That's the worst thing you can do with this truck, is don't drive him long enough. Don't get the EGR valve and everything hot enough to burn all the carbon out. So, you know, if you're just you know, like me, don't drive much, just want to have a truck in your driveway when you need it, is there. Not a good thing for diesel. Diesel are meant to be driven long haul and long distance and get them really hot, so it burns all the carbon and keep the emissions system, the entire system, well operated. So that's my problem. And after the smog guy, you know, passed me and I was talking, I was like, you know, that's my problem. And he goes, yeah. And then he started opening up with me and start talking about it. It was, yeah, because these trucks are meant to be driven. So even I notice when I drive on highways and freeways, all I see is, I mean, people that use them for business and hotshot trucking, majority of them you see is the Ram trucks. I like Ford as well, Chevy as well. But I mean, this is my third Dodge/Ram truck. I had 2 5.9s in the past, and this is my first 6.7 with the DEF. So, you know, all my buddies, they're on, you know, every time I talk to them, they always complain about their Fords having this issue, that issue. I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. Is this happening, that happening? You know, and you know, they go through multiple trucks while I'm still on my same Dodge or Ram trucks. You know, so anyway, you know, I'm pretty sure Ford has this problem as well. Their heavy duty trucks, Chevy as well. All these big 3 automakers are meant to be driven. Period. You know, I don't care if it's Dodge, Ford, or Chevy. I mean, I would just drive them, or at least once a week, get on a freeway, at least drive them for 40 minutes to an hour, open them up. I mean, if you got a hill, go up the hill. If not, I mean, flat, just haul ass, you know. And the easiest thing to do is clean the EGR valve. It is so simple. Takes no time. I mean, like I said, I was kind of impatient, so I didn't film that. Because there's already great video by Motor City Mechanics or the Motor City Garage. They have it in there, but I was surprised how much carbon came off of it, so I was very confident when I put it back in. You know, and sure enough, you know, I mean, yeah, I did spend money on, you know, from Napa Auto Parts, buying that sensor. I ended up damaging one of my exhaust gas temperature sensor. I tried to clean it, that through a check engine light, separate check engine light. I had to replace. So when I was at the dealership, I just bought everything new and swapped them out. Yeah, I did spend, you know, a few $1,000s, but you know, I like to work on my own truck and know what's going on, and you know how everything works and operates, and I can solve it. I'm not stuck. I'm not paying, because when I initially had the check engine light, one of the dealership quoted me $4,000. And they were just going to go through all my emission system, and one of the things they said they were going to clean was the EGR valve and the DEF filter. They were going to take it out, clean it, and put new sensors for the bad sensors and all that. They would just go through the whole thing. A few other dealership quoted me, you know, diagnostic charge, and then we'll go from there. But you know, I mean, system's not that hard, this emission system, so that's why I like to tackle my own. I mean, I got my own code reader. Why not, right? I mean, it's lesson learned. I can help, you know, if somebody's watching my video and saves them tons of money, learn from my mistakes and my experience, and save yourself a bunch of money. I mean, by simple things. I mean, there's a lot of great information and videos how to do things, but you gotta read and watch a lot of content to find stuff like this. So that's why I wanted to create this and just put it out there. And if you're wondering why I have DTC2, those are stored codes. So first one is for that P2201, it just in the computer system that it, hey, you know, had that issue. Second one was I tried to make another video of this, and I didn't have the truck running, and I plugged it in, and I went live monitor, and the scanner couldn't connect to the computer because couldn't find the live data through a check engine light. So I ended up driving again, and the check engine light went away. So now I got 2 stored codes. My battery is 6 years old on this truck, so eventually I'm going to replace this battery, and then maybe that time I'll just go ahead and delete all this stored code out of my computer with this scan tool. But other than that, hopefully it helps somebody out. You know, all I ask for, give this video a thumbs up. Hopefully helps me share with your friends, buddies that has the same issues or have Ram trucks. You know, I'm pretty sure it's Ford and Chevy, same thing. You know, I mean, they're heavy duty trucks. They're meant to be driven long haul. And, you know, I mean, you just open them up, you know, I mean, let them, you know, blow all that gunk out of there, you know, all the carbon that builds up in there. So another thing so initially when I put the dealer NOx sensor, I was gonna clean the EGR valve, but then I was like, you know, I don't want it to cause any other issues, any other check engine lights to come on. That's why I did not clean. But when I pulled the Napa NOx sensor out, I did notice that thing had, I mean, it was in there for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and there was a lot of carbon built up on that sensor. I did touch it with my one finger to kind of wipe it off and see if it, I mean, came off easily, but it's still, I mean, I just left the rest of it on there. But that kind of alerted me that, hey, there's a lot of carbon built up, and I wasn't sure with this new DEF system, I mean, if that was normal or, you know, abnormal. So definitely it was abnormal. So yeah, there's a lot of carbon built up. I mean, I was talking to one of my buddy who's like, you know what, might as well every 2 years when you go to a smog just clean your EGR valve. I was like, well, I mean, I'm gonna start driving this truck more often and driving a long distance. I might start taking it to work, get on a freeway and jump on it for at least 40-50 minutes, maybe take a longer route to work, at least once a week or twice a week, or even every 2 weeks. So, and then I am planning on using this truck more this summer. I got a lot of projects I'll be doing around the house. So I'll be going to Home Depot, getting lumber in, hauling my trailers and stuff as well. So good news, past smog. All it was, the carbon built up in the EGR valve that threw a NOx sensor code P2201. Definitely clean your EGR valve. Highly recommend that before you even replace the sensor. And if you have a scan tool, I mean, I think this was like a cheap one. I mean, this is basically a voltage meter as well and a scan tool. And I think best 90 bucks on Amazon I spent. I think it's a Autolink brand. Yeah, that's about it, guys. All right, good luck. Let me know in the comments if you're having any issues. I would love to help you guys out, whatever I can. See you in the next one.